Good evening. This is Penelope Flynn, co host and moderator of Discussions from the Other Hood. I am here on this strangely very chilly March 9th edition of our show, which is entitled Snubbed at the Oscars: Who Won, Who Should Have Won, and Who Probably Shouldn't Have Been Nominated. So I'm hoping that you all will be able to sit back, relax, and as usual, we will go through and talk about the weather and wait for everybody else to get into the room before we get started. All right. Top middle, Otto is you. So how's the weather?
It's immaculate. Immaculate weather. It's cool. It's what it's supposed to be, you know. So like 60 degrees high and like I think a low was like 48 or something. So I'm loving
Lovely.
it. Loving it,
All right.
loving it, loving
All
it.
right. So are you as lucky, Cranston? Are you getting good weather down in Jacksonville?
It has been, I said to a friend of mine that I think spring is sneaking its way into the calendar because it's been in the 70s most of the week. It got up to 85 today.
Wow.
It's down and it's 70 now, but we've had rain the last 3 or 4 hours. And somebody called me and told me that lightning took out their television and everything. But other
Wow.
than that, it's been pretty good.
All right. Okay. And how about you, Nikki? How is the weather in sunny South Florida? Sunny?
We had 82 degrees here today. It was hot,
Wow.
but now it's down like about 75.
Well, that sounds pleasant. Did you get any rain?
No, not today. We got some day before yesterday. No, yesterday and day before yesterday.
Wow. Well, we got heavy rain. I think over
We
the
did
past
too.
few days, we've got
Hmm.
really heavy rain. I don't know. Otto said great weather. Didn't mention, the torrential downpours of rain and the heavy wind. But
But I love that. But I love
yes,
that.
yeah. Okay, well, you like that? Okay, great. Okay. And Sonia, you're up in Rochester. How cold is it there?
Right now it's 45, feels like 41. It's supposed to go down into the 30s and snow tomorrow.
Wow.
Hey.
Have y'all had any
And it's
precipitation?
been, yes, lots of rain and it's blustery. It's, as Winnie the Pooh would say, it's a blustery day.
Let's read it. All right. Well, now that we've gotten through the preliminaries, we'll get right down to business. And the business is of the Oscars. And so we know that the 96th Annual Academy Awards is going to be tomorrow night. And before that, I mean, we had some ideas about going through and, picking out, uh, you know, what we think the winners, the losers, winners and nominees will be this year, but realize everybody hasn't seen all these films. So we kind of be talking, around most of it. So as we were doing our research, we found this article about the snubs at the Oscars over the past, I don't know how many, 50 some years, but 25 spurned, slighted, and rejected films or actors that the New York Times pointed out. And so as we looked at it, it was very interesting. This Otto and I took a cursory glance at it. And some things we think, okay, yeah, but other things we think are complete off base. So in the article itself, they started out with 1990, and the film was the film that won. The winner was Driving Miss Daisy. But according to New York Times, they said that Do the Right Thing should have been actual winner for Best Picture, and they noted saying that it had a lot of uh, disparate feelings about the film, and they believe that for various and sundry reasons, if you look at it, they say it's a film which um, was said some people hated this movie, others more ominously feared it or claimed to. News articles and reviews imagined riots sprouting in its wake. They never came. Seeing in the character of Mookie, who, in a fit of righteous fury, smashed the pizzeria window in the film's famous climax. Confirmation of Lee's insidious intent. Did Academy voters have similar misgivings? Lee, who was shut out of the directing category, did receive a nomination for a screenplay, suggesting at least one branch of the organization had his back. Now, we have here, I see we have James in the chat room, and he says, how about a link? And I would say, I sent it to you this morning. So if you check your text messages, it will be there in your text messages, in the text that you have with the other two people, not the one with you by yourself. Check that, and if it's not, then I will send it again. Um, yeah. So this is the Do the Right Thing for Best Picture, as opposed to Driving Miss Daisy.
I don't
And
think either one should have won.
Really?
I don't. I'm not a big fan of Do the Right Thing. I don't really understand of the general population's fascination with the movie. To be honest,
hmm, yeah, I gotta say, I don't think. I also don't think that Do the Right Thing should have won.
I don't even remember it. I remember seeing it. I just don't remember.
I,
I
I
think
don't.
I was too mentally young at the time.
I don't. To me, I think it's not a forgettable movie,
No, it's not.
but it does some things I think that a lot of people have never seen before, like the different slurs for
Oh,
different
I thought that
ethnic.
was good. I like
Yeah,
that
I think
part.
yeah, I think that's never been done before, and I like stuff that's never been done before. I like that. Showing Brooklyn in a way that was that didn't reflect like '90s television. I thought
Uh huh.
that was good. But Giancarlo Esposito. I mean, there's so many good parts of things, like a lot of Spike Lee films. There's a lot of good parts of stuff, but it
But
does
it's a
as a
problem with
whole.
continuity and cohesiveness.
Yeah, as a
Yeah.
whole, it doesn't make itself. A lot of people went off on the Rosie Perez dance sequence at the beginning. I
Yeah.
didn't. I wasn't impressed by that.
Me either. I mean, but that just goes to show you have people who don't get out much, that saw it and thought it was like, oh my gosh, this
Yeah, you
very
see, yeah, it's different
uh,
when you see stuff all the time and people seeing it for the first time. I get it. They
yeah,
people never been exposed to Public Enemy before. Never
right,
heard
right,
that, and so there's a lot of disparate parts that you know. But as far as the best picture, I don't probably
yeah,
new cinematic experience.
yeah.
Yes, best picture. No, I don't.
And I don't. In fact, when they said Driving Miss Daisy won, I don't even know what the other nominees were that year. Does anyone else know 1990 what the other nominees were for Best Picture? Because I don't know. I don't think that either one of them. Which one? Oh, I'm getting like some sort
I'll
of
look it up.
pollen or something. Okay.
And it
Um.
could be the fact that you had Public Enemy doing the opening song,
Right. Right.
and it could have been a
Mhm.
seminal
Mhm.
event in that a lot of
Right.
people had never been exposed to that type of rap music before.
Right.
So
More the
it's
music than it was the dance.
yeah. And then the dance. Rosie Perez was one of the Fly Girls. Was she a Fly
Mhm.
Girl?
Was she on the Fly Girl? Wasn't she? It was she. Soul Train, wasn't she a Soul Train dancer? Rosie Perez was a Soul Train dancer.
To the Soul Train dancer.
Yeah, during the time like right after something with Jodie Watley was
She
there.
should got she should have got back on the train because she needed some more
That's terrible.
training to
Stop.
dance.
It wasn't that.
It wasn't that bad, but it's not like I'm gonna flip my
Yeah,
lid over it.
yeah, yeah. And I thought that she did a good job because she was new to acting pretty much in that role. And she did but that's another issue why I think the problem with it being a Best Picture nominee, because there's so many people within the film who are like in the infancy of their careers. Some people who did, John Turturro, I thought was
John
excellent.
Turturro was
You
really
know,
good.
excellent. Danny
Danny,
Aiello was
yeah,
excellent. And of course, Spike Lee had to have a role in it for his sister, and she is, Joie Lee is, attractive and good,
yeah.
but
She's okay.
she's
She was
okay.
okay.
It's
She's
okay. And then
okay.
but then he always has to put in like that little um chorus, type of characters, like a little group of people who get together and express like the same
But yeah,
type of view. And a lot of times those people who are in those roles are, they're fair to middling, but nobody's
I
really
mean,
quite
you had
outstanding.
Ossie Davis and Ruby
Mhm.
Dee in it,
Mhm.
but it was better
But
than.
but but Ossie Davis and Ruby D were okay, you know, but they were phenomenal in what is the Jungle Fever. I thought they were
Yeah, that
phenomenal.
you could done with, you know
Phenomenal.
a lot of
Th-
Spike Lee movies, and jumping on Spike Lee, but a lot of stuff is chock full of things that don't are not necessarily move the story forward. So the
Right.
Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee characters didn't necessarily do anything for the movie.
Right. And it's here they are, and then, Samuel L. Jackson, who was the role of the voice of the DJ, which I thought was fine. It was good, in the morning I thought that was a nice touch. But
The
I do not think that the film was a best picture film.
the other nominees were Born on the 4th of July, Dead Poet Society, Field of Dreams, and My Left Foot.
Hmm.
So of those five,
Hmm. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe Born on the Fourth of
be,
July.
Because Born on
nah,
the 4th of July was, more of a timely film regarding the Vietnam
yeah, but
War.
it stuck it thumbed its nose at authority too.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that it should not have been the winner. I just feel
No,
like,
I'm just saying they followed their
well,
trend of not bucking
hmm
authority.
yeah, okay.
well, it was good, but it wasn't that good. I mean,
I, despite the fact that it has some low issues, low points on it, I like Field of Dreams. I thought that it was I like the baseball movie, so I tilt
I
toward Field of
liked it.
Dreams.
It I liked it and it was good. It was well done and blah blah blah. But the problem I had with it even then and still now, if this field was supposed to be attracting the best people to ever play baseball,
Yeah,
how
and
come
no
they were
brown faces in the room, no
yeah,
brown
so
faces out in the field. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we kind of
Yeah,
noticed
you're
that.
not.
so
To me, you don't get to get away with that.
Yeah, and
Because
you're correct.
these are supposed to be the best baseball players ever, right?
I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to be the best baseball players ever
yeah.
or just this particular guy's favorite baseball players. So I don't
But
know. I mean,
even
I have to see
then,
it again, to see. I mean, maybe this person, none of their favorite baseball players are black people.
but now that's kind of a big thing, especially when James Earl Jones gets to make this speech about how baseball represents something pure and noble and all this bestness
Correct.
and this, that, and the other.
Correct.
And it does all this stuff and it says, and the only black person in this entire movie is
Is
me.
him? Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. And I
yeah.
don't. I guess they did not. I mean, it's just kind of like Otto has the thing we all call like in our home theory of the left hand, which is how it is. It's a type of racism that doesn't directly like I don't like you to be wrong. It's like if you're left-handed, everything is made for right-handed people,
Hmm.
and people right-handed are not making things, saying, "Hey, I don't want any left-handed people here." They don't even think about you.
Hmm.
As far as they're concerned, you don't exist. You don't rate. They're
But in
just invisible.
baseball, though,
Yeah, but I'm just saying that if you have people who only see baseball in that way, and I don't know which of us it was. I think it was Roxanne a couple of shows ago who was saying that, for instance, her dad had no idea who John Wayne was when he went to the theater and he saw cowboy films. They're only black cowboys,
Hmm.
and that's what he saw. That is his world. And so there are people who grow up in those very segregated worlds. But I would think once you think about the fact that you have someone like James Earl Jones playing the role of the reporter, that somebody,
no Jackie
within
Robinson.
the yes,
They're re-
somebody within the crew, production, the director, or someone would have said, you know what? some black people are missing from this film. Maybe we
What
should put
about
some
Jackie
in
Hmm.
there.
Robinson?
Their
Yeah,
Yeah,
researcher got lazy.
yeah. But I mean, even if it's not the researcher, just average baseball fans
average,
would know. Average
everyday, run of
baseball
the mill
fans would know.
baseball fan would say, "Will
At least,
where's Jackie
G.
Robinson?
Robinson. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I mean, even people from the Negro League. None of them were considered.
Where's Willie Mays?"
Were they
Yeah.
all Chicago? I can't remember. Were they all Chicago players?
Well, they
No,
No.
no, they were from everywhere
Okay.
after they, because they said, well, they're coming in from everywhere and everything. But
Yeah.
the thing was, at the time the movie was made, you were keenly aware, if you watched even one baseball game in your
Hmm.
life, there
Yep.
are black people playing baseball.
Right.
There are black people from other countries playing
Right.
baseball.
Exactly. As I say, the same thing. They're more than just black people. You have Latinos who play baseball.
Yeah,
I think
Roberto Clemente.
Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah, I would say if Field of Dreams had done a little course correction, I think that it really would have rated,
yeah.
a Best Picture win, not just a nomination, a Best Picture win.
So
Unfortunate,
that's
that
why I
they
would
did
go
not.
with
Yeah.
I would go Born on the 4th of July.
Okay. All right.
I know,
Yeah.
and the thing is to understand this, do the right thing in separate parts. It's kind of hard because in separate parts, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's something that people have never seen before.
We
You
call
know,
flashes of brilliance.
right?
Flashes of
But
brilliance.
but should you be celebrated for flashes or a whole, or how do you reconcile that?
I don't
Well,
know.
there was an old saying that back in the studio days, back in the 40s and 50s, that if you had a story and you could get like 8 or 9 really good scenes out of it, then you had a successful movie. So by
Mm.
that definition, it would be successful. But the problem with, I think, the other problem it didn't get Best Picture was because a lot of people didn't watch it.
Right.
Roger Ebert had said a thing that he had interviewed Jessica Tandy and had asked her in the course of it, had you seen the other nominees? And she said she hadn't seen it. And it wasn't like because you couldn't make it to the theater that day, they were sending out, it was still VHS tapes
Right.
then, but they would send tapes to all of the Academy members so you can watch it in your house. So you really have no excuse not to watch it, except she'd made a decision that this is something that I don't want to be associated with. Although, ironically, she was in a movie that dealt with racial issues, although totally different kind and everything. And so she didn't do that. And so he made the point, well, how can you say that you really voted or considered all of the nominees if you didn't see all of the films?
Right.
Yeah, can you imagine her what she did? I think as far as not seeing it is that she popped that baby into the V what is it, VCR or whatever,
Hmm.
and she saw that part that Public Enemy part with what's her name's dancing, and that was it. That got popped out.
Hmm.
Yep. And didn't get past the opening
She didn't
credits.
get past that.
Yeah. Okay.
She not watching.
So.
She not watch. Jessica Tandy's not watching.
Mhm.
Or listening to Public Enemy and Rosie Perez
Yeah.
dance.
Jessica.
Yeah, but
Yeah, Jessica won for Best Actress that year.
Mhm.
She was against Isabella Adriani, Pauline Collins, Jessica Lange, and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Mm. Right.
So
Well, the
that was
next.
the year
yeah,
she didn't watch them.
Okay. Well, the
yeah,
next.
but I think you
Okay.
might have slipped in and watched it though. Yeah, so
All right. So what we have here is the next one they have on the listing is the actual winner for 1960 for Best Actress was Simone Signoret for Room at the Top, but they believe it should have been Marilyn Monroe for her performance in Some Like It Hot. And their little statement is one truism about the Academy is that it's too well Hollywood to recognize genius, like Marilyn Monroe's turn as Sugar Kane in Some Like It Hot, directed by Billy Wilder. It tracks two musicians, Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, who, after witnessing a massacre, slip into drag and hide in an all-women's band. Sugar is the group's chanteuse. Monroe is the film's tremulous heart and soul. Monroe's myriad problems helped make for a famously troubled set when movies aren't produced in isolation. Curtis compared kissing her to kissing Hitler, and some of Wilder's later comments about her are startlingly nasty. None of this tension is evident in Monroe's performance, which is sublime.
Sexist. It's
So, of course,
sexist.
yeah, the Academy ignored
And
it.
it's sexist. And then number one, it's not just any massacre. It's the St. Valentine's Day massacre.
Mm-hmm.
which is a another seminal part of history, Chicago's history, and this country's history regarding prohibition. And number one to me, and then number two, I think that they thought that Marilyn Monroe was just playing herself, so
Hmm.
why give
You
her an
think?
award for that?
Yep. Well, I wrote a paper on that, and the teacher had me explain it. You know, it takes a lot of genius to play somebody that airheaded, but she was actually character herself was actually quite smart, hiding her brilliance because she
Yeah,
knew
and
men wouldn't like it.
Same thing with Judy Holliday.
Hmm.
hmm yeah,
It's like that's the way women are. So
hmm
why would you get
an
an award
award
for playing on?
for playing how you are.
Yeah,
Um, does anybody disagree with that? I gotta admit, I've not seen Simone Signoret in uh, Room at the Top.
I
Has
The
saw
anybody
it.
seen?
Yeah,
Well, it's
Have I
also
seen it?
the
Not knowing what it is because I have this terrible problem with seeing films and not knowing the
you saw.
name of
If I
them.
saw it, you probably saw it.
Yeah, I
You
just don't
just
know the
probably.
name of things. I watch them a lot. Just no idea what it
well,
was I just watched.
well, you also have the Academy's prejudice against genres, and they very seldom will consider a comedy a serious movie.
Right, right. And we know there's several different genres that they pack into that little
And
Hmm
yeah, I
untouchable
mean,
category.
there's so many different reasons for that movie and for the people not to get nominated or given an award.
Hmm
You got Billy Wilder, who people back then thought was just so corny and hokey, you know. And then you got, of course, Marilyn Monroe, who no one took seriously as an actress. And you got ones like Cranston said it's a comedy, so
hmm
people didn't take
hmm
comedy seriously.
And you got
And
two guys running around in drag, so we can't
yeah,
take that
nobody
seriously.
took that
So you know,
seriously. It's like, the thing is, even as we speak today, a lot of things, a lot of different art is being produced around us, and we
hmm
see it, and we give it short shrift, and it really takes a stepping outside yourself to
hmm
see the art that's being produced around you and not taking it for granted.
Yeah. Well, I'm sitting here. I'm hoping. I said it showed that James at one point was in the room. I sent the link to his Facebook message, so I'm hoping he's hearing me and knows that to check your Facebook message and click on the link in your Facebook
Or
message.
text it to them.
I did, but he said he didn't find it in his text, and he said email it to him, but it didn't go to his email because of the problems that we have with the email. So there we
you
go. I'll
know,
try
we
again with the email.
we need him to explain why. What's that thing, Devil Doll or whatever it is and stuff? Why they never?
Was not nominated. I
It's
don't
Yeah.
not
know.
nominated. Got no respect.
None at all, and I don't think that's fair, right? So, I guess the next one that we have on our listing, I had to move around. Well, unfortunately, my listing just disappeared. Who's got the list up? What's
Denzel
next?
Yeah.
Denzel Malcolm X best winner, best actor. The actual winner was Al Pacino, Scent of a Woman.
Oh, that's a no-brainer. That is a no-brainer. Come
Hold
on,
on, I'll read what they wrote. Hold
please
on.
do, because that's a no-brainer.
My thing skipped. Hold on. Look at the achieve. Look. The career achievement Oscar given for a lesser performance is a tale of as old as time for Academy watchers. But
Hmm
there's still no excuse for passing over Washington's thorny, brilliant performance for Pacino's broad, scenery chewing caricature of Jason
I,
Bailey.
I'm sorry, but they don't to call that uh scenery chewing is. I don't know. It was just so
He's
bad.
chewing some. He was
We had
chewing
chewing
something.
something. It ain't up the scenery. It's something, but what a terrible performance. I mean, I think that what people make a lot of
Money.
issue over. For instance, remember Marley Matlin playing, a deaf person. She's a deaf person in Children of a Lesser God. So why is Al Pacino being, applauded for playing a blind person when he can actually see? I mean,
Because he's
it's like,
because he's Al Pacino, and this was a
I was
blind
just like,
person.
I think about, but he's not blind. He can
That's
really see,
that's why they call it. They give the career achievement award.
but it's stupid. I mean, I can
Well,
understand. I can understand. For instance, let's say someone is, in a wheelchair for an entire performance, and they can walk around, but they have to perform the entire film in a wheelchair. That's something different than what they would normally do. I, have to be a
That's
person and
stupid.
pretend that I cannot walk. But I'm saying that if I had to
Pretending not
spend,
to see, pretending
yeah,
not to be
pretend
able
not
to
to
see.
see is crazy. I mean, that makes no
well,
sense.
I don't
It
have a
just makes no
problem.
sense.
I don't have a problem with a sighted person playing somebody who is blind. I don't have a problem with that because that's why they call it acting. But Al Pacino's blind guy had the senses of like Daredevil or something. He could navigate traffic. He could.
Mhm.
Speaking of
Uh,
a role played by seeing a blind role playing by seekers, Daredevil.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Daredevil was
Dare,
there. Yeah,
Daredevil was
he
different to
was.
me because
He was Daredevil. That's what I saw when I saw Scent of a
yeah,
Woman. He's
yeah.
mhm,
Because
pretending. He's
Daredevil,
pretending another version of Daredevil.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
because Daredevil is have super
Right.
yeah, he
human
got some others.
ability. He pretty
Right.
much can see, but not like we see.
Yeah,
But
he got altered by some
right,
Yeah.
radioactive stuff or
Yeah,
something.
that's why I said,
Mhm,
yeah, Al Pacino's role felt to me as
yeah.
like, look, I've got super, I can smell everything. I can
yeah,
tell
and
what
it's
a
You can
so
woman's
smell. You
thinking
can
from
ridiculous.
smell.
how
You can
she
smell.
smells. And
You can smell how this movie stinks. You can
Well,
smell
the
that
Oh
thing
movie.
well,
was
yeah, yeah,
It's
that
not a good
scene.
movie anyway, even if he could see.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that
yeah.
scene early on where he could tell that Chris O'Donnell was not saluting him properly, I guess just the way the air brushed up against him or something. And I said, okay, yeah, right.
What
It
garbage!
wasn't even a good
So,
film. It wasn't a good film, and to call it a life
Oh
achievement,
wow,
to
yeah, it's
call it a
terrible.
lifetime achievement award, it's like if that was your last movie ever. But it's the Al
Right.
Pacino been acting still since he's been
hmm
in 1,000 movies since then. You know what I
and
mean?
he's done a
Yeah.
lot of things that are a lot better too. Yeah. So,
No, I mean this he got best
You know,
actor.
we better go
He
ahead and
got
give this
best
guy an
actor,
award.
and he should not have gotten it, and it was
We better
terrible.
go ahead and give this guy an award because
Yeah.
he's gonna
Anything can
die.
happen, right?
He's getting
Anything can
ready to
happen.
die soon.
Yeah.
but the other
What is
thing they
that?
don't mention is if you got somebody playing Malcolm X who still was considered, like a bad person, we're not going to recognize their performance no matter how good it was.
That's just
Yeah.
bad. I mean, what if somebody, uh, um, I don't know, Malcolm X. It, Here's the thing about Malcolm X and story about Malcolm X is
Mhm.
that I think James Baldwin wrote the original script for Malcolm X, and then
Mhm.
of course it went to Hollywood, and then they wanted to turn it into a buddy picture or
Yeah.
something. And so it's like maybe some people in Hollywood wanted it to be a certain way. It wasn't the way that they wanted it to be. Plus,
Mhm.
there were a lot of people in the black community who thought that the movie depicted certain aspects of Malcolm X's life that gave more emphasis to his life, other than rather than his transformation from a so-called black Muslim to a more expanding vision of how American society should be and international. And so it was kind of controversial, and so people took it as an excuse
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
it was controversial and
Well,
decided not to vote for it.
Mhm.
well, actually, they would mention it. They say that the Academy is still overwhelmingly, or at least up until at that time, was overwhelmingly white and overwhelmingly old. And you're not going to have these rich 60 something conservative guys, even if they are liberals and stuff,
Mhm.
uh, celebrating somebody who they still look at as a danger to society.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, number one, he's not a danger. It was not necessarily a danger to society. Then number two, the issue is that they want race and black people depicted in a way that that's more comfortable for them. They're
Mhm.
more interested in Sidney Poitier saying, "Call me Mr. Tibbs" or "Lilies of the Field" than a tr- it's to me it's it's a transformation. If you read the
Hmm.
autobiography of Malcolm X, and the
Hmm.
film is like this as well. It's a transformation of intellectual transformation of someone going through the American culture of racism and all the other things that happen. And
And also
so,
religious, and not just regular
and just not
religious
and not
intolerance.
recognizing that as art. It's just it's a blatant disregard. It's like black people can't create art.
Mm. Well, the next one I want to keep going because we got 25 of these to go through and really lagging a bit. The next they have is Dark Knight for Best Picture in 2009 against the actual winner, which is Slumdog Millionaire. And I really like Slumdog Millionaire, and I think it was a different way of seeing film, you know, than what we were used to. So I thought it absolutely deserved its Best Picture nomination
Yeah,
against Dark Knight. I mean, and I enjoyed Dark Knight too, but I think that Slumdog Millionaire was a different way of seeing film.
and also it had a happier ending.
Yeah, yeah. But, I mean, I just think that it was a lovely story of like just circumstance, consequences, and just kismet. They
Hmm.
just fall into place sometimes. I mean, and sometimes things are very dark and bad and terrible, and you just keep going. But I thought how interesting he's able to tell a story of why it is that he knows the thing that he knows.
Hmm.
I like that a lot.
I think they got that right, and I think
Hmm.
that Dark Knight, is kind of cracking the seal as far as superhero movies being nominated.
Hmm. Yeah,
It
and
wasn't nominated.
It wasn't nominated.
No,
Nope.
the other nominees were Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Frost slash Nixon, Milk, and The Reader.
Well, then it didn't crack anything then. But it's still, the Slumdog Millionaire, even with that group, in my opinion, still
far
the one.
superior to those films. Far superior. Right, the next thing on the list is Jonathan Demme's Silence of the Lambs versus who they believe should have been the winner, Barbara Streisand's Prince of Tides for Best Director. I was not particularly, I mean, this is me, not particularly impressed with Prince of Tides. I thought it was interesting, that she directed, and that was good. I mean, it's a well directed film, but it was not of the same level as Silence of the Lambs, which I thought was, you know, Jonathan Demme did the work. It was
Hmm.
well
It was
done.
scary.
Yes, absolutely. Tension all the way through from beginning to end. I really enjoyed it, and I mean, they had us riveted, believing each of these individuals in these specific roles was that person, in that role, doing this thing. Anthony Hopkins is well directed. Although Matt Mickelson, is in my mind a much better,
He is.
much
He is. He is
better
the
Doctor
Hannibal
Lecter.
Lecter.
Yeah,
Yes.
he is fantastic because I mean, I see somebody like Anthony Hopkins, coming up on me to talk to me
You're
about
not getting close to
anything.
me. I'm running.
He's not getting that close to me.
No, no, no. But
You
Matt
know,
Nicholson is it?
oh
Hey,
yeah, I
hey,
mean, look at
man.
him.
Hey, Hannibal, you
Yeah.
want to go out for a drink and let's go out to drink.
Well, Robert De
He's got a
Niro
great
was on.
wardrobe.
Robert De Niro was on Real Time last night,
Hmm.
and Mar asked him, well, was there a part that you were offered that you turned down and you wished later that you had? And he said, well, there was one, and he took too long to make up his mind, and they just recast the part. And initially, he was offered the Hannibal Lecter part.
Wow, it would have been interesting because I think it would have been kind of like in between the role that he played in Cape Fear, also Lucifer, Angel Heart. Um, it'd have been interesting to see what he could have done with it.
Mm,
But
I would.
now that I see, if I could think of De Niro in that role, and I see Max Mikkelsen in that role, I think Anthony Hopkins got way too much credit for that his portrayal in that role.
Well, I'm going to tell you the one thing about Anthony Hopkins is that if he can make you believe that someone would see someone who looks like that and actually think of him as, what is it, a bon vivant, or
Hmm.
and someone urbane and witty, and that you want to spend time with, and people, he has parties and people come to them. He's doing a good job if he can convince
Hmm.
people that that's a thing. And so,
Well, the thing I think about the directing for that movie is that they got a sense of things. That the one scene that did it was when Jodie Foster goes to see him the first time, and he says, You can't leave guard down around him because this is what he did to the nurse who was standing
hmm
over him. You don't see the picture. You just see Jodie Foster's reaction to looking at the
hmm
picture,
yeah,
and you know what's going on. And so the fact that you can do that without having to resort to, blood splatter or something like that is skillful directing. So yeah, so they,
yes,
they definitely they deserved it.
excellent. All right. Anybody have any other thoughts on that before we move on to our
The
next?
the other nominees were John Singleton for Boys in the Hood, Barry Levinson for Bugsy, Oliver Stone for JFK, and Ridley Scott for Thelma and Louise.
Mm. And I mean, and it was a good pack that they ran in
Yeah.
to win over. I mean, that's some really great cinema. I thought many of those are very good films that I enjoyed. The vast majority of them on that list. So deserved, I think, well deserved. But the next one on our list is from 2006. The winner was Crash, and Brokeback Mountain is what New York Times believes should have been Best Picture. And it said, put aside the wrong done to Ang Lee's indelible story of heartbreak for any nominee to lose Best Picture to Crash of all movies is reason to question the very ideals of democracy. They really went far on that one. But I have to say, I don't know what else was up on the year that year 2006. Uh,
Capote, Good Night, Good Night and Good Luck, and Munich.
well, that is, I
Wow.
mean, what a great
And
year! What a great year for you to
Hmm.
put out a film, right? That is a thin, thin field. I don't think any of those films in my mind was particularly great. And one thing you have to understand about Hollywood, Crash is a Hollywood film, is an insider film in portions of it. So they are always going to lean toward an insider film as opposed to a film about anything else. I mean, for instance, I don't know if they have it on here, but what is it? What is the one I hate so much with oh, what is his name in it? From my brain went dead. But the it just went right in my head, just in and out. It's about the writer who kills somebody.
The
Uh,
player.
the player. That's the player. What garbage! And I mean, it just. But it's an insider film, and insiders are voting on it. Like I believe Cranston, and you said many times before that this is their awards, the Academy
Hmm.
Awards. This is their industry awards. So of course they are very industry focused when they are
Well,
voting on these things. And I think, wow, I did the player. I thought, wow, are you kidding me?
and what is the
What's
fascination?
huh?
The fascination with Truman Capote. I mean,
No idea.
Ryan
No
Murphy
idea.
just Ryan Murphy has just put out a series with Truman Capote versus the I think Swans or something like.
Swans,
Swans.
yes.
once
Yeah.
this
And so it's like Truman Capote every 5 years we
It's
get
like,
Truman
why?
Capote.
Why? I
Truman
mean,
Capote did In Cold Blood, which is considered classic, blah 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 and stuff.
then you know
And
what?
he
Then let's
was,
redo In Cold Blood. I don't
yeah.
need to see Truman Capote.
His
You know,
life,
And
his life is a
yeah, I don't need to see his life. Just give me some more of what the work that he did.
well, he was also one of those people that came up in that age when you were famous, when you were just famous for being famous, and he was
Yeah,
witty and
yeah.
this, that, the other, and
So he thought.
that and that's why he was a he just keeps popping up. But actually, I liked Brokeback Mountain, but to me, and I will always hold this thing that it wasn't a life, it was like a lifetime movie with guys instead of one like four guys. And I think that it was also the fact that because there is a very strong LGBTQ thing going in LA. That's well in Hollywood. That's going to be something that's favored. But to me, if you look at the movie, it had too many coincidences and too many just odd things that happen out of nowhere. It had just as many of those as they did in Crash, and I think that they didn't like Crash because Brokeback Mountain is who in Hollywood we like to think that's who we are, but if you look at Crash, that is who we are.
You know what? I'm
I,
going to tell you. I think again, I didn't like Crash. I thought that it was just a film full of stereotypes. I mean, you say who we think we are, who we want to be, who we are versus who we wish we were, think we are. But Crash was just a bunch of stereotypes. It's who it is that Hollywood says that we are, and they threw all that out there. Just a whole bunch of people, just disaffected, and I did not like the film at all. I just did not like it. To me, here is a very uh, extreme stereotype on one end, an extreme stereotype on the other end, an extreme stereotype at the front, extreme stereotype at the back. Let's throw it all together and see what happens. Nobody was a character. Everyone was a caricature. It was garbage. Just no, I could not stand it. Anybody else?
Didn't see either of them.
I saw them both, and I like Brokeback Mountain, but I think Crash should have won. So
I don't think Crash should have won. It shouldn't have been nominated. I think it's just uh, like people taking a whole bunch of extreme stereotypes, throwing them into a big pool and stirring it up and saying this is what you get, and it's easy to do that because it's easy for people to believe the worst things about each other and then to believe that they're true and real depictions of how people are. So I didn't like that film at all. No nuance to it, nothing. Just mm, just completely
but it makes the people who are watching it makes them comfortable, right? So
true, true, agreed. It does because it falls into all those stereotypes that they've been fed by Hollywood for the past what 100 years, right? So
makes me comfortable.
yeah. All right. So the next thing we have is from 1959. Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo for Best Director is what should have won, versus the actual winner, which is Vincent Minnelli for Gigi. And as a kid, I saw Gigi, I think, when I was young. I did not really understand it. And then when I became an adult and then understood it, I like, this is garbage, man.
Thank heaven for little
Well,
girls.
yeah, it's a pedophile story. Are they nuts? I mean, that's what it is. I mean, this guy is supposed to, it's no different like Daddy Longlegs, where you're supposed to be, the individual's guardian, keeper, this is your ward, and all you're doing is grooming them for when they get old enough for you to take your shot. Nasty.
Like Donald,
Nasty.
like Donald Trump said to that
Mm-mm.
teenager, you could be my wife someday.
Nasty. That's nasty.
Well,
A It's in a Hollywood film.
Yeah.
it was in the
Yeah.
heyday of musicals, and it was lighthearted, something you can smile about, other than
The
somebody having
nastiness.
a mental breakdown and stuff. Well, it's like a cleaner version of Lolita.
I mean, basically, it is. But Lolita is some nasty old man seeing the girl. But this thing is like she's like his ward, isn't she?
Hmm.
So it's even worse. And then they try to make it seem lighthearted and romantic, and
Yeah,
it's not.
because
That's
you got
It's
just
music to it. Thank
it's
heaven.
it's
yeah.
it's the Woody Allen story before Woody
Thank
Allen.
heaven for little girls
All right.
who
The
are
other
my
ones,
adopted daughter.
the another ones nominated in the
Hmm.
nominations for that year were Cat on a Hot Tin, Richard Brooks for Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Stanley Kramer for The Defiant Ones, I Want to Live, directed by Robert Weiss, and Mark Robinson for the Inn of the Sixth Happiness.
I'll tell you, Cat in the Hot Tin Roof was such a great film. I really enjoy. I mean, I think if you're gonna pick one, my
It's
thoughts,
too
that would have been my
sultry.
pick.
You got people
That would have been
walking
my
around
pick.
in their underwear and
The
t-shirts,
slicks,
and
yeah. I love that film. So yeah, I would have chosen Cat in the Hot Tin Roof.
I
That's
like the
and
there.
Defiant ones.
Yeah,
the
the Defiant
defined
ones.
ones is to me, and also
Uh huh.
how comfortable I am with racism. It's like it's
Yeah,
always this thing where the white person, given the right circumstances, can overcome their racist tendencies and do the right thing.
yeah.
That's
Well,
always the
if you're
belief.
if you're handcuffed to somebody who could strangle you with the chain you're connected to, yeah, they'll make you change your mind about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the next listed, the next film we have is from 1995. And this goes without saying. Everyone knows how I feel about this. That the actual winner was Forrest Gump, and they thought it should have been Pulp Fiction. Now, I think any other film that I've said so far that I hate should have beat Forrest Gump. I mean, what? I mean, that to me is like, what were people thinking? What were they thinking? I mean,
He's everywhere.
I know at one point, I think it was Hugh Cranston that had to explain it to me why it was that, this was, so beloved by people. And I'm still looking at you like, uh-huh, you stopped, taking crank or whatever.
Well, listen, the thing you got to take it with a grain of salt
Hmm.
is that Cranston is a fan of Shakespeare in Love. Just think about that.
Okay, you're right. I have to keep that in my mind and think, okay, it's a Shakespeare in love.
Okay, the other nominees were Four Weddings and a Funeral,
Hmm.
of course, Pulp Fiction, Best Quiz Show, and The Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah,
Shawshank Redemption.
I think that Pulp Fiction should have won.
Yeah.
I think
Over the
Pulp Fiction.
Shawshank Redemption?
Well, okay, not over the Shawshank Redemption. I take it back.
Quiz Show
But
was
I
too
don't know.
close.
I don't know. I don't
Quiz Show
know.
is too close to heart, showing Hollywood cheating.
But you know what? Again, some years you get a whole bunch of really good films, and some years you get crappy films. But this year, they had a whole bunch of good films, and then Forrest Gump. How the hell did that win over all these great films?
It's a
It
feel
was
good film.
yeah,
I don't get it.
it was a
I
feel
didn't
good
feel good.
story.
I didn't feel good at all.
Although at the time there were people who said it did a kind of a disservice because it showed you that if you were neurodivergent, as they would say now, that everything will work out for you. Instead, in real life, your experience may vary. So,
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I just thought,
Which leads nicely to the next category.
so we have what? This is the
The next one.
best actor category
Two,
in
uh,
2015, where we have the actual winner for best actor being Eddie Redmayne for The Theory of Everything versus David Oyelowo for Selma.
The other nominees were Steve Carell for Foxcatcher, Bradley Cooper for American Sniper, Benedict Cumberbatch for The Imitation Game, and Michael Keaton for Birdman.
I don't think I saw any of those except for Birdman and Selma. And I think having seen it, if I, I, I don't understand how anybody could think that David Oyelowo was any good playing Dr. King. He
Well, you
was
have to
quite
understand
terrible.
these movies. You have to understand
He
these
was
movies.
terrible.
The reason you have to understand these movies. The reason why Malcolm X didn't win an Academy Award is the Academy Award panel did not want to give an award to Malcolm X,
Right.
and so, but
Because
they
Malcolm
did
X
want
was
to
not the
give
person getting the award. He wasn't getting any awards.
right, but they want to give award to historical figures. There
Hmm.
were certain historical figures and not other historical figures. Like Abe, anybody playing Abe Lincoln almost always is
Hmm.
going to be in the running. Winston Churchill,
Yeah.
Dr. King. You're always going to get
Elizabeth,
it be in the running.
Queen Elizabeth.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I want to give an award to the real person.
Yeah. I guess you're right.
cheated
That
on
that
Muhammad Ali. I want to give an award to Ali. I want to give it to him.
yeah, but he's gone now, so I'll just
I
give it to
can't
this
give him an
movie.
award, and he was never an actor except in a couple of films that he did, and
Poorly.
he was horrible in those films.
Yes,
But I want to give him an award anyway.
right. So yeah, I agree that maybe that's they want to give an award to Dr. King, but they didn't even give him an award because he didn't win. Eddie Redmayne won for The Theory of Everything, which I have not seen. So I don't know if anybody else has seen it. Is that
It's supposed to be the romance between Stephen Hawking and his first wife. It's not accurate.
okay?
They
Oh,
took Hollywood liberties with it.
hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So we move on for 2001. In the Mood for Love is what they said should have been the best picture, with the winner of Best Picture. Instead, it was Gladiator. Now, I cannot speak to this particular one because I have never seen In the Mood for Love. Has anyone seen it? Do you know what it is?
No.
Mm-mm.
Can't say
They
that I
call
have.
it Wong Kar-wai's masterpiece. Every frame feels as if it is in real time, inventing the very concept of romance, all without capturing a single kiss. But the Academy was too cloistered to recognize those sensuous wisps of smoke and steam wrapped around this Hong Kong love story and shut the film out entirely. Nothing for Wong, the sumptuous cinematography, or Maggie Cheung's sensitive performance. So,
You have Hong Kong.
Maybe
That's
that's
yeah.
something we should make
we'll take a
a
look at it.
point to see. Yeah,
This sounds interesting. I think I
sounds
would like to see
interesting.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
It was a
But yeah,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
It also had Tony Leung, a co-production between Hong Kong and France.
Hmm,
It was an American. That's why.
okay.
Neither was the other one, but But
yeah. So the next one we have here is uh, 1931. That the winner for Best Actor was Lionel Barrymore in A Free Soul, and the winner, as far as New York Times is concerned, should have been Charlie Chaplin in City Lights. I think Charlie Chaplin gets all the awards,
for
all of
anything.
them. Anything he does, he gets all the awards. If he wrote it, give him an award. If he's
yeah.
acting it, give him an award. If he's directing it, give him the award. What? He did the music, the soundtrack? Give the man the award. Charlie Chaplin,
How
my
can you
God.
how can you watch
God.
City Lights and
Yeah.
not think that Chaplin doesn't deserve an award?
Wow, that man. I came to Chaplin as an adult. I didn't see Charlie Chaplin films as a child. I actually, not only as an adult, but through my husband, who was the one who introduced me to Chaplin. I was amazed. I whatever that man touches, it's gold. Um, I think that his performances, writing, all of it, I could understand why he may have been a difficult person to live with, because to have all that in your head and then how to make it all come out and put it on the screen and have the actors to move correctly, the visuals, phenomenal, just phenomenal. And what is it, the roller skating scene? What is that? Is that Modern Times where he did the roller skating?
City Lights.
He likes that thing was crazy. I wow, wow, that guy. So yeah, I agree. I don't know about A Free Soul. Have not seen it,
Lionel
but
didn't. Wait, I'm looking at the list. Lionel's not on here. I'm on the wrong year.
and 31.
Said
And
best actor.
yeah, and this says
Course.
City Lights was a silent comedy released a full 4 years after The Jazz Singer and subsequent takeover of talkies, which may explain why the Academy did not bestow a single Oscar nomination on this pitch perfect mixture of comedy and pathos. But that's no excuse for ignoring Chaplin's magnificent performance, culminating in one of cinema's greatest close ups, in which his little tramp encounters the blind girl whose sight he restored. The slightest nod, a warm expression, a flood of emotion, and a reminder that great acting does not require the use of words.
They got the
And
year wrong. It's 1932.
yeah, so this one they said 1931. Who won in 32?
Lionel won,
Barrymore.
yeah, Barrymore won against Jackie Cooper for Skippy, Richard Dix for Cimarron, Frederick March for The Royal Family of Broadway, and Adolphe Menjou for The Front Page.
And so in this thing, they said that Chaplin was not even nominated,
Yep.
which is a
Wasn't that
Well,
travesty.
when stuff was coming out
A
about him?
travesty.
well, it
You know what?
was.
It's very interesting because we had heard the stories all the time about him with this, young women and stuff like that. Oh, my young woman. But she was young.
But
She
you
was
know the
not a
thing,
child. She was just
the
young.
issue also is that Hollywood wanted to move forward.
Hmm.
It wanted to move forward, and silent movies like that were,
With the past.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And although Chaplin, I think later his films, even though they were talkies, were in full so-called talkies,
Hmm.
were in full bloom, he still made Modern Times, and it was 99% silent.
Yay. We finally got James in the room with us. We had some technical difficulties on getting our King of the Bees because unfortunately he didn't get to explain to us why Devil Doll did not get an Oscar nomination.
Why did it get an Oscar nomination?
Yes, yes, we were waiting to find out.
Well, that's because you guys are basically beating a dead horse, if you ask me. The Oscars, I mean, come on, the Oscars, that's when the industry pats each other on the back,
Hmm.
you know.
That's right.
Um, I didn't leave the Oscars left me.
Yeah.
I don't, these days, I don't really even care best picture, best actor, because you're gonna be disappointed.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, we have also in the chat room here comments. Devine Joy Randolph is nominated this year for Best Supporting Actress. How is she not in for Best Actress? She is one of the three leads. Huh.
Politics. Or they thought she'd have a better chance winning in that category.
Yeah, because we had this conversation before regarding what was it? A film. It was Jordan Peele film that was placed as a comedy as opposed
Mm-hmm.
a drama or
The
something.
drama.
We had this
Yeah, and the
conversation.
Golden Globes.
Yeah, yeah. So why was it placed in that category? Is it because they thought it had a better chance of winning?
Because the same
So,
reason why the screenplay for Barbie is in best adapted screenplay,
mm,
based on another medium, because it's based on a doll. They
that
put
doesn't
it
make any
in
sense
some.
at all. That makes no sense at all. All right. Okay, we have here now 1969's 2001 Space Odyssey, as they say, should have won for Best Picture against Oliver. I'm going to agree with that anything should probably have won against Oliver that year. But, rated G pictures, musicals, very with great songs, with fantastic soundtrack to that thing.
Well,
That brings in a lot of money. It's
yeah,
it's a big money picture.
it was up against Funny Girl, The Lion in Winter, Rachel, and Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Rachel should have won. I like Rachel.
Well, I think that
I could see the Lion in Winter
Winter,
should have
yeah,
beat
that's
Oliver,
I like
but
Rachel.
Rachel.
it was.
it was a popular Broadway play, so
Hmm.
It won its
Yeah,
awards.
Yeah.
it's a
But
popular.
also the problem
Is
you
a
have with 2001 Space Odyssey, and this is something that Otto has always said, is that Kubrick's films are uneven. They begin well and then they just kind of fizzle. So they always have very strong openings and then they kind of, you know,
the first 20
lose
minutes of standing
pace. Yeah,
of Kubrick
Kubrick
films
films.
are
It's,
Oscar worthy.
hmm
After that, to me, it's like, ugh.
I think that's a problem if you have people who are watching the film and oh boy, this stuff is really great at the beginning. The opening is, wow, it's fantastic. And then he slides into, usually something that ends up being very one level. It's like one level for a very long time before anything else happens. And I think that's where I think he loses some people. If you don't know that that's what Kubrick does, then you're you're expecting more of the beginning, and it doesn't
Yeah,
happen.
I mean, very, very few exceptions. I mean, the first 20, 30 minutes of Full Metal Jacket are some of the most
Yeah.
powerful filmmaking I've ever seen. And then of course, the Clockwork Orange,
Yes.
he's able to maintain it for significant
Mhm.
portions of the film.
Well, I think though in Strangelove was pretty even all the way through.
Mhm.
I
But I
think
think, like you're
Doctor
saying,
Strange
that
loved
Doctor
it.
Strangelove is like his. This is my opening. This is my like coming out party. This is my showing what I got, and then after that, I kind of just the rest of my laurels.
Whatever. Yeah, his whatever stuff.
Yeah, I rest of my laurels. But I think uh, I like 2001: Space Odyssey, but
I
I
liked it
agree
too.
that you say that
It,
there are other contenders who were actually better suited. I mean,
I like
almost
Rachel.
any of them could have
Rachel.
been better than
But
Oliver.
as far as the technical stuff that he did, because they developed a lot of camera angles, it should have won more technical stuff too, and it
Hmm.
didn't. Instead of, but it didn't.
I
They
like
But do,
Rachel.
developed a lot
Rachel.
of things.
I
do you
like
think it's because
Rachel.
people didn't
Rachel because
understand it?
it was a
Huh?
quiet
Hmm.
film, a quiet, powerful
Hmm.
film, and I think it didn't get enough attention.
I would say, do people think that maybe they didn't understand 2001?
That was the main thing. It just
Mhm.
confused people.
Yeah, and what can you do
They'd
if you
never
don't
seen
understand
a true science fiction show.
it? Yeah.
And also, as somebody else has pointed out, it's as close as he came to a silent movie in the modern era because there
Yeah.
was very
Mm.
little dialogue, and
Mhm.
the dialogue they did have was just so mundane it didn't distract from all the visuals. So
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
folks didn't realize how close he was to the real space stuff.
Mm. Mm. All right, we move on to 2000. To 2020. The winner that year was Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, and they argued that it should have been Adam Sandler for Uncut Gems. And I can't really say one way or the other
The
because I could not get through the beginning of Uncut Gems.
the other nominees were Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Adam Driver for Marriage Story, and Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes.
Hmm.
I'm really surprised they didn't give it to DiCaprio, sorry. I'm not a
I'm gonna tell you. I mean, Uncut Gems. If you want to have your ration, your yearly ration of the N word, then just watch the first 20 minutes of Uncut Gems, and you will have your full year's ration. I was done. It's like, come on, is this necessary? For telling the tale. Like in
I was surprised,
yeah.
that a lot of the NBA players, like Kevin
Mhm.
Garnett, were in a film where
Mhm.
someone like Adam Sandler kept saying N word over and over again. I was really
was that
disappointed.
was that
Very
Gems or
disappointed.
the other the basketball film?
Excuse me.
Um,
Which one was it that they were
Uncut
in?
Gems.
I thought they were in the other movie.
No, they were Uncut Gems.
Okay.
Remember they went into the jewelry. It's not even a jewelry store. What do you call those places? It's almost like a pawn shop jewelry store. They were there, and it's say okay, that's enough.
yeah, I
That's
didn't
enough.
care for that. I
And
didn't care for that,
that's enough.
and
You know.
I lost a lot of respect for Kevin
Mm,
Garnett
yeah,
to, being that. But I think Joaquin Phoenix did a really good job in Joker.
I agree. I thought he was quite excellent in Joker. And again, some of the parts of Joker I did not like. The very opening of Joker I did not like because they have him. Hopefully you've seen it, but the opening he's out with his sandwich board or whatever it is, trying to do advertising promotion for wherever it is that he works, and these little Hispanic kids, little Puerto Rican boys, you know, beat him up and take his stuff, and you got this huge city of all these people. Why did you have to make the little boys Puerto Rican? I thought that it was offensive. They could have made a group of multicultural little boy
No,
group,
see, Puerto Rican and black kids don't exist in motion pictures and TV shows about
unless
Unless it's
let's
West
say
Side
doing
Story.
Unless they're doing bad shit.
Yeah, and just they're brutalizing someone or murdering someone, and especially because they were such little children, like middle school age. I was offended by that, and it took me a while to get into the movie. Seeing that, thinking, you all don't think anything's wrong with this? You don't think it's inappropriate? To paint. I mean, especially since you don't have anybody Puerto Rican do anything else in the film. So, not and again, this is like the same thing that I hated about The Wire. They made little black children, not adult children. Putting adult words and adult activities into children's mouths and bodies, and it is an offensive thing. And then other people who see this believe that that's true. And people never see a black person in their lifetime or a Puerto Rican person in their lifetime overseas, maybe, or the first time they see a black person or Puerto Rican person, they think, I know all about them because that's what they do. That's what I don't like about it. And it took me out of the film for a little while at the very beginning. But other than that, yeah, I think Joaquin Phoenix's performance was quite excellent in Joker. I think he did a great job. Um, Next one we have is 1998. The winner of the Oscar was Helen Hunt in As Good as It Gets, and they argued that it should have been Pam Grier for Jackie Brown. Does
Yeah, I
anyone?
would go along with that. Yeah, it was as good as it gets. Was a good film, but it was just an average. It would have been a really good TV show episode or something like that, but it wasn't anything really spectacular.
Right. What else came out that year? I don't know if you're
The
keeping
other
track.
nominees were Helen Bonham Carter for The Wings of a Dove, Julie Christie for Afterglow, Judy Dench for Mrs. Brown, and Kate Winslet for Titanic.
If you can give a lifetime achievement award to Al Pacino for Sin of a Woman, then you can give it to Pam Grier for Jackie Brown.
Yeah, I think he just got Best Actor. I don't think he got Lifetime Achievement for it.
But
No, the
you know what I'm saying.
yeah,
Yeah, I understand,
We
kind of.
didn't give it to you before, but we get to you
We give it
now
to you
again.
now.
They
Yeah.
can do the same thing
Well,
to
because
Pam
understand
Grier.
they did it, but they did it to Paul Newman when they robbed him
I know they do it all
in
the
the
time.
verdict.
That's why I'm
You
saying
know.
Yeah,
they should have given it to Pam Grier.
hmm But what I mean, but her thing's a Lifetime Achievement. Is there any specific performance that you can point to that says she should have won the Oscar that year?
Everything.
All right. Anyway, let's move on. Moving on. Okay.
Grease
This one says.
lightning. She
Okay.
was grease
Okay.
light, huh?
Okay. We're moving on. 'Cause y'all are
Grease lightning,
biased. Y'all,
coffee,
y'all are biased. Okay.
Foxy
I get
Brown,
you.
Sheba
I get
Baby,
you. I get you. But yeah. In
Black Mama,
20,
White Mama.
thank you. In 2022, they indicated that the winner for Best Original Song was No Time to Die. But in their opinion, it should have been We Don't Talk About Bruno um, from Encanto. And I agree.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
When you analyze that song, that is an extremely complicated song.
I'm telling you, when I was when I saw it the first time,
Yeah,
I mean, when it starts, when the music starts, when they are sing, you realize that you are in this moment with something that's very special. That is, I mean, I was taken, just completely blown away by that song. I mean, it was in my head, you know, just from, I mean, and they have other songs and stuff within that film, but that, wow, the performance was magnificent. Everything about it, they did a great job. Should have won. I agree. Anybody else have any thoughts? What any other songs that were nominated that year that you thought were better
I
or
don't think they were better, but the nominees were "Be Alive" from King Richard, "Dos Ariegos Oruguitas" from Encanto, "Down to Joy" from Belfast, and "Somehow You Do" from Four Good Days.
I don't
The
know
two
all
I love the
those.
two Lin Manuel songs. I just adore.
I
I,
just think that we don't talk about Bruno. That was
yeah, Dos Ariegos is the one that playing when the abuela tells um
her story.
her story.
Yeah, but
The
that we
one
I
that's
mean
all
that we don't
Spanish.
yeah, but that we don't talk about Bruno though. That was like whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa. The music was phenomenal. The singing was phenomenal. Everything about it was just it hit on all eight cylinders. I thought it was excellent. So yeah, I agree with that. Now we're getting ready to move down to Argo for Best Director in 2013. They think it should have been Ben Affleck for Argo instead of Ang Lee's Life of Pi. They say Affleck's snub for the Best Director may have been a result of doing his job too well. Argo is a tricky mixture of political thriller, Hollywood satire, and action adventure, requiring deft juggling of potentially incongruent tones and styles, and modulating the performances of a large ensemble cast, including himself. Yet, Affleck pulls it together with seemingly effortless professionalism and verve. The shock that he was not rewarded with even a nomination may have ultimately worked in the film's favor in other categories. Affleck, as one of the producers, ended up taking home an Oscar for Best Picture.
The other nominees was Mike Haneke for Amor, uh, what is it? Behin Zethlin for Beast of the Southern Wind, Steven Spielberg for Lincoln, and David O. Russell for Silver Lining Playbook.
I don't
So
know
to
all of
give you,
those, but I have to say I really liked Life of Pi.
Really?
I
Yes, I
did
did.
too. I did like. I also like.
I really liked that film. It was unexpected. Because this we talk about magical realism, and isn't that truly like it turns magical realism on its head, doesn't it? I mean, phenomenal. And my because as a writer, I think, wow, I would not have thought to do that. What is real? What is fantasy?
I don't think most
I
people
loved it.
understand magic realism.
I love that. I mean, that
Yeah,
one's like, wow, it turning it on its head. That's what I loved about it. Wow. So, any other? I mean, I don't know what the other films that anybody thinks should have been the winner other than
I
Argo.
mean, you can argue for Lincoln.
Yeah, I thought that was good actually. I liked it. But again, that was a quiet film, you know, if you think about it, because it's about movement of ideas and paper, and
Hmm.
it's not necessarily about battles. It's about ideas and getting things done in a political sense. So I don't know. Maybe people didn't find it too exciting, but I did like it. And the next thing on our list was uh, Laura Dern winning Best Supporting Actress for Marriage Story over Jennifer Lopez for Best Supporting Actress in Hustlers. I did not see Hustlers, but I have a question. If it's a film I think it is, wasn't she like supposed to be like Best Actress? Wasn't she the lead in that?
I think
I
so. Yeah.
So why would she be Best Supporting Actor in a film that she was the lead in? That sounds really kind of strange, doesn't it? Well, let me see what they say. They say whenever Hustlers works, it works because of Lopez. As a top earner at a strip club who masterminds a plan to bilk rich players out of their cash. But that's all plot. It's Lopez dancing with the kind of strength and stamina to make your eyes pop that we really remember. Or it's her incandescence unwrapping in that fur coat, making space for a protege. She oozed all the charisma of one of the great pop stars of our age, garnering awards from critics groups and even a Golden Globe nomination. The Academy left her in the cold. So I do not know why they think she should have been Best Supporting Actress as opposed to Best Actress. I don't
because she
understand that.
wouldn't have won best. She wouldn't have won Best Actress. She was up. It was Renee Zellweger for Judy, Cynthia Erivo for Harriet, Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story. What is it? I cannot pronounce this lady's name every time I think. Cerise Ronan for Little Women, and Charlize Theron for Bombshell.
Saoirse,
Shosha. She wouldn't
Saoirse
know
Ronan.
because there was no way Jennifer Lopez was going to win even that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Mm,
That's why they put her in Best Supporting.
okay.
Would they were saying she should have won
Hmm.
Best Supporting?
All right. Well, thank you for letting us know because I wasn't.
Yeah.
That's kind of strange.
The
I thought she was the lead.
other actresses in the for best supporting were Kathy Bates for Richard Jewell, Harriet Johansson for Jojo Rabbit, Florence Pugh for Little Women, and Margot Robbie for Bombshell.
All right. So
Yeah,
now we have here.
Richard
For,
Jewell, Kathy Bates
mhm.
with Richard Jewell was really, she was really good.
She was. She really was. For Richard Jewell, she was quite excellent. I mean, I was waiting, because I was like, okay, she's doing all right, all right. But then when you get closer to the end is when she really puts in the performance. So yeah, she really was very good. Let's say in 2019, the actual winner for Best Picture was Green Book. They believe that the Best Picture should have gone, the award should have gone to Roma. Um, It said against their better judgment, sometimes people choose a reheated, unhealthy snack that doesn't challenge their palates instead of a gourmet meal of international cuisine. So that was their position. I don't know, on with regard to that. Who were the other also rans, the nominees in
The
2019?
infamous one, Black Panther, Black
Uh,
Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Roma, Star is Born, and Vice.
yeah, Black Panther should have won for sure.
Either Black,
Yeah.
yeah,
Black
that's it.
Panther
That
was,
was the controversial.
but you know what? I like Bohemian Rhapsody too.
Yeah,
You know,
Well, it should have been anybody but Green Book.
yeah, anything but Green Book. I think that's about the size of it. Yeah. Okay. In 2020, the actual winner for Best Supporting Actor was Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and their belief is that it should have been Song Kang Ho for Parasite. So, I mean, Parasite, of course, won, Best Picture, and the best supporting actor they're saying should have been him. Said when Bong Joon Ho's Parasite became the first movie not in the English language ever to win Best Picture, the victory highlighted the appalling lack of nominations for its stars, especially the chameleon-like South Korean star Song Kang Ho in his engrossing performance as the patriarch of an impoverished but scheming household. Song's nonchalant effervescence slowly morphs into rage as the experience of chauffeuring a wealthy man ultimately drives him to violence. His complex turn steers his class satire that Academy members adored, but they still ignored him. And I agree they should have definitely had nominations for the individual actors within the film. But I mean, there are just so many little gems in Parasite that people miss. What a fantastic film that was.
But
You
you're
know,
going up against Brad Pitt, so
yeah, and maybe, but
well, and I'm
it,
waiting. I'm going to hear Otto roar on this. The other nominees were Tom Hanks for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Anthony Hopkins for The Two Popes, Al Pacino for The Irishman, and Joe Pesci also for The Irishman.
wow.
They could, hey, at least they didn't give it Pacino another one.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm one of those persons that I love Brad Pitt, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood I thought was a rather thin script, very thin.
and Al Pacino in The Irishman,
Hmm.
he's done that role 1,000 times.
That's what I'm saying. Waiting
and
for him to
and the same
roar.
and the same deal with Joe Pesci. He's like you've
Yeah,
done it all. I mean, it's like you wake him up in the middle of the night.
It's either Italian or Irish with Pesci.
Yeah, do Joe Pesci
yeah,
and do.
yeah,
They've done those roles. Come on,
yeah,
man.
yeah. But I'm thinking, but Brad Pitt and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think that he got it because he is Brad Pitt.
And nobody watched
Everybody
those
knows.
other movies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. True, true. And I'm gonna tell you, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is one of those films I watched it, but part of it is kind of cringy and made me uncomfortable. And I know you're gonna say, well, what is it makes this cringy make you uncomfortable? When that young woman put her dirty feet on the dashboard, that was freaking me out.
Mm.
I could not deal with that. It's like, I mean, I would have put her out right then. I would have leaned over,
Well, the thing.
leaned over. I would have opened my car door and I would have kicked her out onto
I
the
paid.
road.
Listen, I paid for that movie,
Hmm.
and the only reason I stayed is because I paid for that movie.
Hmm.
Because otherwise, I would left. I would
Yep.
have went out. I would
Yep.
have went outside and played in the rain or something. It's like I only,
Yeah.
it's like I invested like whatever amount of money I paid to see the movie, and I
Yep.
therefore felt compelled to stay. I bought this expensive ass popcorn and this stupid
Mhm.
soda, and I paid
Yep.
for the
Here I
ticket.
am.
Now I'm stuck in this mother.
Yeah, and here we are. Yep. The next on our listing is 1977, where the actual winner was John Albertson's Rocky, as opposed to Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver, Best Director. I think that the Academy got it right.
Really?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The other nominees was Alan J. Palula for All the President's Men, Ingmar Bergman for Face to Face, Sidney Lumet for Network, and Lena Vertmula for Seven Beauties.
Yeah, I think that Rocky was really well done.
What about
Yeah.
network?
I like Network as well, but again, it's like we talked about this. With Rocky, you have boxing films, people's sports films that they're difficult to do. And I thought that, I mean, the director was lucky because I think that Stallone pulled together a very good screenplay,
Hmm.
and it's a very believable goal. A lot of people think, okay, this guy, and from the gym, and he wants to be good, and he's gonna beat the champion. That was not the goal. All he wanted to do was go the distance, and that's the whole point. That, yeah, I'm not at the point where I'm going to be able to beat this champion, but if I can just stay in it, then I have won. And this is how we are in life. If you don't get the brass ring, then you're a failure. And so, no, I didn't win, but I'm not a failure because my goal was to come in there and go the distance. I thought it was psychologically, if you think about it, how people are. We think so little of ourselves. Oh, you weren't the winner. Like, again, I think we were talking one day about the fact that if you're in the Super Bowl and you lose, then you're not the second best team, in the league. You're the worst team in the league
Hmm.
if you lost the Super Bowl. But that's the way people think about themselves. And I think this film challenges us to think differently about ourselves. That as hard as you work and as much as you do, you may not win. But if you manage your expectations, you do win. And so he does win because his expectations were managed. I like Rocky.
Well, the real based on the real story of Chuck
Hmm.
Webner,
Hmm.
who no, did not win
Hmm.
and did not go the distance
Yeah.
with Muhammad Ali. Got knocked the f out.
Yeah.
That's number one. And then also the thing is that I like Network. I do. I really like Network. But the problem with Network is the ethnic stereotypes. I did not like.
Yes.
I did
Yeah.
not like it,
Yeah.
and the sexism
Yep.
of Network. I did not like it.
And the thing is, as they do these films, especially you call it, it's a film for its time, but
I don't
the
believe in
people who
that.
are making, but I've said, but the people who are making these films, this is their mindset. This is their belief system.
Yeah.
And we look at it and we think, what is this garbage? But they believe these things because they don't have an expanded view of the world
No, they say
or even of their
women
own community.
sleep their way to the top,
Hmm.
and that black people act a certain way. That they say revolution, but all they care about is money
Hmm.
and exposure,
Hmm.
and it's not. There's some good aspects of the film. When the guy says, you know, go out your window and say,
Yeah.
I'm mad as hell.
I'm
I
mad
can't
as
take
hell.
it.
I'm
It's
not going to take it
a
anymore. Right.
seminal moment in cinema.
Hmm.
But no,
As
I
we
like
discussed
Rocky.
earlier, yeah, as
Yeah, I
we
like
discussed
Rocky
earlier
because
with Spike Lee, flashes of brilliance do not
yes,
make an entire film experience.
Rocky seems gritty to me. It seems like
Hmm.
it's a gritty movie, and you know,
Yeah, and I think the concept that even Italia Shire, you know, playing Adrian, instead of some fluffed up Barbie type. No, she's just a woman, not you know looking like
yeah, she looked like
some.
some girl, a woman from Philadelphia that
Yeah,
somebody wants.
that's right. Just and he likes her, and he doesn't have to justify liking her to anybody because this is who he likes. And I thought, just again, the managing your expectations of your life. Nobody can tell you, that you are a loser. You win because you choose to see your life as winning. Things that you've chosen for your life as winning. So I like Rocky. I think, yeah, I enjoyed, especially, I think it's a well written film.
And the fantastic Carl Weathers.
Yes, of course, and the Fantastic Four as Apollo Creed. And can you imagine how from this, still you have these names, out there, Creed and Rocky Balboa, that it's now part, of
Mm.
our zeitgeist. That's a great thing. The next thing we have on the listing is uh, was it 1988 where Cher won Best Actress for Moonstruck, as opposed to Glenn Close for Fatal Attraction. Now, in my my mind, I do not think that Glenn Close should have won Best Actress because I think that she's a supporting actress in um in Fatal Attraction. I
Oh,
mean,
Really?
she's the antagonist.
but I don't think that she is.
Yeah, it's hers and Michael Douglas's story.
Yeah, but I do not find her to be a best actress. She is acting against him. She's an antagonist. She does not exist like, when I think of a best actress role, I do not see that as best actress role. I think it's a supporting role. It's just if you look at, for instance, something like Unbreakable. You have, a character, the main character, and then you have the bad guy. But the bad guy's a supporting character. That's not the same as an equal to the lead. So I don't think that she was a lead character at all. I think that she was a supporting character. And to that end, I do not think she could have been an actual winner over Cher and Moonstruck. Now there may be other people who were in the running against Cher that maybe should have won, but
The
I don't think that Glenn Close was the best actress.
the other nominees in addition to Close were Holly Hunter for Broadcast News, Sally Kirkland for Anna, and Meryl Streep for Ironweed.
I liked Holly Hunter in broadcast news. But again, the problem I have with these ensemble casts is that it's a very tricky thing as to whether someone is actually a best actress because so much of the time was spent on the story of Albert Brooks, and then she was, in my mind, more supporting because it's William Hurt and Albert Brooks kind of, and she of course is the female lead kind of thing, but I don't think she was like a best actress. She was still a supporting role.
So do you think
Uh,
this new thing about the that they're going to start next year with the ensemble award is a better reflection of that?
I think it might be because there's so many ensemble casts that you can't, take them and filter them out and figure, well, who's the lead, who's not, because it's constantly shifting. So a lot of times these things are almost like little tiny anthologies, where one person's story going over here, another person's over here, and then they all intersect. So I think, yeah, I'm interested in seeing how that works next year. I'm very interested in it. So I just got a notification from James that he's gone because he has no internet connection and the landline connection possibly due to their area's all-day rainstorm. Oh no!
Wow.
A major American city has its internet interrupted because of weather.
Yeah, that's terrible. All right, and the next one that we have. I mean, is there anything else? I guess we said that you thought. I guess we said who you
I
thought.
thought in Iron Reed, I thought um
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep was very good in that.
Hmm.
But this is the thing about acting awards. It's like these are different roles, different scripts, different directors. It really is a silly exercise, isn't it?
I don't understand your statement.
because it's not like it's a race. Like you have
It's subjective.
Magic Johnson going
Yeah,
against Michael Jordan. You know what I
right.
mean,
It's
and
yeah, it's
someone playing
subjective.
this.
It's
Yeah,
subjective.
and it's based on the project that you're doing
Right,
and the
right.
character you're portraying and the
Hmm.
people that you're acting with and everything else. And
Yeah, it's
it,
apples to
acting is
oranges. It's,
very. It's not a competitive sport. It just
mhm.
not everything can be turned into sport.
Well, I guess when they look at it, it's supposed to be achievement in this, achievement in that. But it's hard sometimes, as we were just discussing, the concept of the ensemble, which is not, directly best actor, lead actress, supporting actress. They kind of merge, blend, spread, so it's not exactly easy to determine who has what role.
Yeah,
So I think it'll
because
be interesting to see how that pans out next year. We'll keep our eyes open for that.
you can have two actors actresses do very good roles and
Hmm.
also should win Oscars based on their performances, and
Hmm.
not one is better than the other. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense in
Hmm.
artistic measures. It's like
Hmm.
who's better, Van Gogh or Gauguin?
Yeah,
It doesn't.
it's subjective. It's subjective. Okay, now the next thing we have here, and I cannot. I'm out of my league in this, and we're saying for the best documentary feature in 1995. The winner was Maya Lin for A Strong, Clear Vision, and they think that it should have been Hoop Dreams in 1995. And I don't know. What are the other documentaries for 1995?
The other nominees were Complaints of a Dutiful Daughter, D-Day Remembered, Freedom on My Mind, and A Great Day in Harlem.
I don't know any of those. I remember seeing Hoop Dreams.
And Great Day in Harlem is the with all the jazz. I mean, no, what is it? Harlem Renaissance people.
Hmm. But they said this was not even nominated. Hoop Dreams, but
Well,
I
Hoop Dreams. I saw Hoop Dreams. And I thought Hoop Dreams should have been nominated and should have
mm,
won.
yeah, I mean, but I didn't see any of the other ones. I
Yeah.
saw that and I thought it was quite excellent. But I
Great
don't
Day,
know the other
yeah.
works.
Great Day in Harlem is the photograph in 58 of all the jazz musicians and all the Harlem Renaissance folks, as he said. It's that famous photograph,
Hmm.
them
All
all
right.
gathering.
In 1997, they had the actual winner of the Best Supporting Actress award going to Juliette Binoche for The English Patient, but they believe it should have been Lauren Bacall for The Mirror Has Two Faces.
You know what? The English. Who's seen the English Patient?
Mm.
Never seen it. Never
It's
seen it.
back to their love affair of World War II.
Yeah,
Mhm.
never seen it. The Mirror Has Two Faces. Have y'all seen that?
I didn't see
I
any of the
I have
nominees.
to uh, admit my ignorance. I have not seen either one. Have you, Otto? You probably seen The Mirror Has
No,
Two
I didn't
Faces.
see.
No.
The reason I wouldn't see a movie called The Mirror Has Two Faces is because of its title.
Okay.
What a stupid ass title.
But it could be just two people standing together, looking into the mirror. The mirror has
No, it's
two
trying
faces.
to. I don't like movies that try too hard. With the
Okay,
title.
Mhm.
okay, but it could have been something
It,
less
it's a
scary.
romantic drama directed by Barbara Streisand about, where is it? Story focuses on a shy middle-aged professor who enters in a platonic relationship with an unlucky colleague.
Yeah, Streisand would direct something like that.
Streisand and Pierce Bronson. No, not Pierce Bronson. Who's the lead? Hold on. The unlucky colleague is Barbara Streisand. Jeff Bridges is the
We saw
professor.
that. We saw that movie, Penelope.
We did.
We saw it in the theater. Yeah,
I do not remember it.
yeah, we saw it. Yeah,
That's
we
not
saw it.
good.
I
I
saw
do
it.
not remember it.
Yeah, I sure
Okay.
did.
Mm.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
other nomi-
we were in our Barbara Streisand mode.
Okay.
the other
All right.
nominees was Joan Allen for The Crucible, Barbara Hershey for Portrait of a Lady, and Marie Jean Baptiste for Secrets and Lies.
Hmm. All right. Well, I guess I saw that film. I just
I
don't
like
remember it.
Secret and Lies.
Hmm. Okay, the next thing we have is 1999. Roberto Benigni's Life is Beautiful for Best Actor,
which I
and they
hate,
said it should have been Jim Carrey for The Truman Show, and I do not know
which I
why.
also hate.
I do not know why. It's the
I hate
Academy
both of
voters
I hate
love
both
to reward comic
movies.
actors who show their
Hmm.
versatility in dramatic roles. Witness Tom Hanks for Philadelphia and Robin Williams for Good Will Hunting. The latter win came just a year before the rubber-faced slapstick Carey went respectable in Peter Weir's comedy drama with a performance that wisely turned down the volume on his broad antics but retained his considerable charisma while adding brushstrokes of melancholy and discovery. But Academy voters were apparently too hung up on the image of Carey talking out of his hindquarters and left him empty-handed. So I don't know. I didn't like the Truman Show, so I probably would be like the rest of the Academy. I would not have voted for it. I didn't particularly like it. I
Yeah, I
mean,
don't.
it
I didn't like
was
it because I didn't like it. It
okay.
had nothing with him talking out of his ass. I just didn't like
Yeah.
it.
No, this just
Give it,
there just was not liked. It just wasn't
yeah.
good.
The other nominees were Tom Hanks for Saving Private Ryan, Ian McClellan for Gods and Monsters, Nick Nolte for Affliction, and Edward Norton for American History X.
I
I'm
like
sup-
Which
Ian McKellen,
I'm
and I
I
think
like
he.
American
surprised.
History
Yeah, I'm
X.
surprised with their love affair for World War II. They didn't give it to Hanks.
Oh my God, should have gone to Edward Norton for American History X.
Who's? Did everyone see American History X?
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
should
No,
go to
Ed
Ed
Norton
Norton.
should have gotten it.
He was phenomenal in that role because it was so many roles within that person, the transformation of that individual. And I thought, wow, wow.
that's why they didn't give it to him.
And
Yeah,
they
he
tried,
was
and I think the
wonderful.
movie does a good job in trying to explain
How?
how systemic racism and how kids grow up and they get these things from their elders, and
Hmm.
this sickness, it just gets passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah, I thought he was phenomenal in that role. Quite, he should have won. Um, the last one we have here is in 1986. The winner was Out of Africa, and the New York Times posits that it should have been The Color Purple. And they said Whoopi Goldberg gave the performance of her career. Oprah Winfrey did too. Both should have won. End of story. I
Well, wait a minute, wait a minute.
what else was what came
What are
up?
the
Who were
other
the other
nominees?
nominees?
The other nominees, including Color Purple, were Kiss of the Spider Woman, Pritzi's Honor, and Witness.
Well, there was a very thin field. So I mean,
I
under
would
the
have given it to Color
circumstances,
Purple.
the circumstances, yeah, that's a pretty thin field.
How many
I
people saw Get Out of Africa?
Yeah, yeah,
I
get out
saw
of
parts
Africa.
of it.
Yeah, I saw parts of it as well. But
Kiss of the Spider Man, I didn't see this interpretation. I saw it on
Hmm.
Broadway.
I
I
saw it.
saw it. I saw Kids of the Spider Woman.
I saw it.
It was
Um,
okay. It didn't deserve a nomination though, in my mind.
no, it did not.
But
Um,
popular play.
yeah, but it did not deserve a nomination. The film, and then I John Hurt and I mean William Hurt and Raul Julia were good in the film, but I don't think it deserved an award.
I think people, yeah,
It
it
didn't
should.
deserve a nomination, actually.
Yeah, I think The Color Purple deserved an award. I don't like black suffering movies,
Well, trauma,
or
trauma.
black trauma movies, but Out of Africa, or I called it Get Out of Africa.
Yeah.
I Because it's
Mm-mm.
Redford or something. I have no idea. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that movies that show any sort of black suffering back in the day, it's like
Mm-mm.
it's like the movie that Oprah produced called The Beloved. Um,
Mm-hmm.
White people don't want to go. They don't want to. They don't want to be confronted with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Beloved didn't win anything, didn't nominate for anything, I don't
Yeah,
believe.
that's what I mean.
Yeah, and didn't go see it.
The only
Uh,
reason that Color Purple got nominated because Spielberg was involved.
hmm
Yeah, it got nominated for it had the most nominations that year, won nothing.
hmm
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't because they didn't see it. Because I'm not going to
Yeah.
watch. I'm not going to watch you tell me how people are suffering like that unless it's the Holocaust or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
there's another movement going around through Hollywood. The previous years it was Oscar so white, and now the new movement is Oscar so goy.
Oscar Sogoi, which I did not know that. I was very surprised.
It was that way before.
Well, I mean, but you know what? In my mind, I mean, way before, but there was a huge Jewish influence
Yeah,
in
so
Hollywood.
way before.
And
That's
so, but I'm
Hollywood.
saying,
Hollywood was started by Jewish men investing
but
their
now
money.
they're saying that Hollywood's so goy that there's no, or virtually
You
no
got
Jewish.
Bradley Cooper playing Leonard Bernstein, and you got what's the guy's name playing Oppenheimer, and
Yeah,
these are
yeah,
not these
right.
are not Jews.
But they're
Yeah,
playing Jews.
right.
Well, not Oppenheimer, but
Yeah, Oppenheimer.
wasn't Oppenheimer one of the Nazi?
No, he was
No, he
American.
was an American. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
getting confused.
and he was Jewish, and
Yeah,
it's not played by a Jewish person.
it's a Cillian Murphy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not Jewish. Bradley Cooper is not Jewish. As a matter of fact, he had to put on a Jewish prosthetic to become more
A
Jewish.
nose, a nose. And I said, I thought that was offensive. Just play the role. Just play the
He
role,
said
man.
so, and he said it was okay because the Bernstein family said it was okay,
he's a method actor.
Uh,
and so that nose really did it for him.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, okay.
that's
And then
it.
he gave this interview where he says that he and Leonard Bernstein had just shared so much and played such an influence in his life, and Bernstein was dead by the time I think that Cooper was alive. So it's like it just doesn't make any sense. And Cooper is really, really, really trying to get this Oscar.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but that's the list that we have that the New York Times put out. But are there any particular films that you all think should have gotten a nomination or award that that were snubbed, or something that got an award that you thought was insane that it was even considered?
Driver Miss Daisy.
Really? You think that that should not have been considered at all?
No. And I think the American Fiction is going to get snubbed.
I
Yep.
would hope not. I would hope not. I would hope not, because I think it is such a great film.
It probably will get the writing award, I think.
Best adapted screenplay.
Yeah.
It'll beat out Barbie, who should have been in best original screenplay.
Original
Yeah,
screenplay.
that's your
Yeah.
best original screenplay. That's nonsense.
Barbie should have been in makeup and hairstyling after watching the behind the scene and production design after seeing the behind the scenes. It is in the production design, but
Yeah,
seeing what they went through
work
behind the
there.
scenes to get that makeup and hair just perfect.
Interesting.
And I also think that I hope this is the end of like not autobiographical, but biographical films like Bernstein and Linda Bernstein and Oppenheimer. I'm so sick and tired of these historical figures.
Hmm.
And the thing is, it's always a ticket to an Oscar nomination.
That Churchill was
Always a
for
ticket. Yeah.
yeah, but they're real people, and all you got to do is copy them, like Muhammad Ali. Just copy them, ape them. But like you said, these are individuals who want to give the award to the person, not the actor playing the
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. I
Uh,
don't have the list of movies, upcoming movies, but I almost guarantee you that it's any movie that's about somebody like an Einstein or Dr. King or Coretta Scott King or something
hmm
is bound to be played by a A-list actor or actress and is bound to be nominated for an Oscar.
I'd love to see a movie on Coretta Scott.
I don't want to
So
see a movie on Coretta Scott King.
I don't
She's
even want to see the Shirley Chisholm one that's coming out.
yeah. I
I
I,
have
I mean
no interest.
I love these people. They're giants,
Yep,
historical giants, but I don't want to see that because
I would rather
I
see a
want to see the
documentary for the
Hollywood
real them.
lens. I
Yeah, I
want
would
to see
rather
the
see a
Hollywood lens.
documentary of their real life than to see the fictionalization,
yeah,
Hollywoodization of their lives.
true.
All right. Well, y'all, we have gone far in this. We are, over an hour and a half into our show because we had such a great um,
And we
roster
didn't
chosen.
go off topic.
Yay! Yeah,
Yay!
Yeah.
we stayed pretty close. So I guess I can ask. You know, the only I guess four of us still here. And we get ready to wrap it up. Is there anything in particular, about the topic that you wanted to discuss or enlighten or give your final
Is anyone is
words
anyone
on,
going to watch?
Cranston?
Anyone going to watch the Oscars tomorrow?
I
Yeah,
might.
I'm gonna watch it. I always watch it.
Mm,
I might.
I might, I might not. It depends. It's just how I feel. It's just one of those things.
I mean, I was a kid. I watched. Always wanted to watch it, and it always came on too late because I had to go to school.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why they moved it up an hour. It's now starts at 7
And
Eastern.
then it was always something like I went to bed and then I woke up and someone said, "Oh, there was a streaker on the Oscar."
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
missed the slap last time.
Well, let's hope none of that happens again.
Yeah, we'll s-
So no
we'll
more
see
of
what the
that.
big moment is this year.
Yeah.
It's kind of like watching the Super Bowl for the commercials.
Hmm.
Well, you know
Yeah.
what? It's that who's going to say something stupid? It's like, Joe Biden in the State of the Union address was just
Hmm.
pitch perfect, but he said the word illegal.
Hmm.
Somebody was murdered by an illegal, and so people are jumping on that and saying that he needs to apologize for saying that word. So is that who is it that's going to say something in their Oscar speech that's going to
Hmm.
be picked apart
Yeah.
for the next couple of weeks?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's cross our fingers and hope everybody gets out of it alive. All right. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. We will be back again next week with more discussions from the Otherhood, and boy, do we have some topics for you. You're gonna watch out for them. It's gonna be fun.
Don't
So
forget
thank.
to set your clock.
Oh, that's right. Don't forget to set the clocks.
Wait a minute. What
Yeah.
about this clock? What about this clock?
Spring
Tomorrow
forward
is forward
tonight.
day.
Yeah.
Again?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Spring
God
forward.
damn it!
Yeah. This is it. This is spring forward. Yes.
Well,
Tomorrow is
You
I
lose
try
an
to look at
hour's
it as
sleep.
an hour.
I try to look at it as I get to leave work 1 hour early.
All right, all right. And thank you those of y'all who are in the comment section of the chats. Mark, thank you. James, who's able to stop in for a little while, thank you so much. Anybody else who's in who did not make themselves known, thank you so much. And again, we'll be back next week. And again, it'll be fun, fun, fun till our daddy takes our T-bird away. So have a great remainder of your weekend. Have a wonderful next week. We'll see you back again here in the Otherhood. Take care of yourselves. Good night.
Bye. Good
Good
night.
night.